And I believe that it will get back to natural again. People will rediscover how easy it is to fast and how good they feel afterwards.
I see a very bright future of fasting, and because fasting is one very important element in a whole holistic view of things in medicine in general, and the awareness of what comes with fasting is, I consider, very, very important for the question of health and well-being. So I see a bright future of fasting.
I think especially the intermittent fasting has become more and more mainstream, more and more popular, and then maybe also people will do more fasting, like real fasting. But I think with our obesity epidemic, hypertension, metabolic syndrome, we are maxed out on the drugs. So I think we have to do something internally, what we can do to keep healthy. And I think fasting is easy. Anyone can do it. It's cheap, doesn't cost anything. So I hope people will resort to this rather than taking medication.
So I think that more and more people are open to a fasting experience. This wasn't always the case. So I think that many people are more aware of, let's say, a work-life balance or a mind-body balance in their everyday life. You go to a gym, you eat more healthy, you have all the information available on YouTube or on the internet. So now that more and more information on fasting or research or personal experiences, books, articles, and so on are being published, people are much more open to an own experience. I think then it depends on the kind of fasting protocol you choose. So some people would probably go for an intermittent fasting. Some people will go for a prolonged fasting. Some people will choose a different diet. So I think that many people will have different configurations, but we hope, of course, that they all end up doing what we believe is the real fasting experience, a prolonged fasting with our protocol, with the Buchinger Wilhelmi protocol. And I believe that also with the hybrid use of online and offline protocols, much more people will fast in the future. So it might become something very normal, whereas now sometimes people say, oh, you're fasting, oh, poor you. This will become much more normal. And I think also doctors will say to their patients, like they say you should do physical activity, which is a term, you can do a marathon or you can do light walking. They will also say you should have a fasting protocol throughout your year in order to maintain a healthy body and a healthy mind.
I think the future of fasting really lies in, there's our side of things, which is really rigorous molecular investigations to understand the process. But I think there's also a side of more public acceptance and utilization. So I think we're going to see hopefully more use of fasting as a tool in the clinic. So for example, as a tool for improving surgical outcomes, we're hoping that we can see more use by surgeons and more acceptance that it is a safe and effective tool for use in the clinic. So I think, in addition to seeing the real understanding of the mechanisms develop, I think we're also excited to see the real utilization in humans expand.
I think the future of fasting is exciting as people start to study it more from like a scientific basis to understand really the molecular mechanisms mediating these benefits. I think the acceptance of fasting as a real therapeutic, right? Like something your doctor can prescribe you, I think is going to increase. And definitely what we see in, some of our younger students getting exposed to like dietary restriction field, the aging field, is that they're interested to try these kinds of things. And, I've talked to a number of students who have already implemented fasting regimens into their lifestyle that they do, on their own based upon their scientific literature research. So I think the future of fasting is that it's going to become more widespread accepted, and that, you know, potentially we'll have doctors prescribing fasting instead of pills for chronic diseases. So this is at least my hope.
The future of fasting will be a very, very good one. That's what we are seeing. Also, especially now after the pandemic. So fasting is really amazingly popular right now. And also the scientific findings, also on this Congress, presented on this Congress, they help us, of course, a lot. They give people the security that fasting is something very, very beneficial on several aspects. There will be more findings. The scientifics are saying that we're just right now at the beginning. So there will be more findings. And I believe that it will get back to natural again. People will rediscover how easy it is to fast and the good they feel afterwards. So this will be like a bit back to the beginning of human lives. It will become a strategy that people will rediscover for themselves.
What do I expect in the future for fasting? I see big possibilities for fasting, and I hope that it grows further. I mean, in the last decades, it grew so much, and it's publicly in publications, in the news. It's all over the place, and people really see the benefits of fasting, and it's there are so many scientists now in the field of fasting. This is awesome, and I think we are going in the right direction, and I hope that as many people can experience the nice things of fasting and can have the possibility to fast for themselves, and I hope that it grows and grows.